Oh, Lord. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's been a pretty busy start to the new year. I've been working hard at the therapy clinic. I've learned a lot of new skills and modalities that I've been performing on other people. I've still been training pretty hard. I think I'm going to be prepping for a meet pretty soon, but I'll confirm that with you guys in the next video. And this past weekend I actually went to a coaching seminar. So I kind of wanted to start off by just talking about this coaching seminar. So the seminar was a coaching summit that was organized by the APU. And we had about 6 speakers talking about various things in powerlifting. There was things from talking about certain methods of training and tracking your metrics, to some things about referee psychology, stresses and psychology of lifting, and even stuff like cutting weight. And I kind of noticed the general theme about all the things that the people were talking about. And this theme was the sense that coaching is multifaceted and multi-layered, and there's so much that goes into this role of a coach. Another thing is something that I touched on my last video, which is optimal training is ultimately different for everyone. They went deeper and actually gave us tools to actually objectively measure our training and gain a better understanding of what works and why it works. And a couple ways to do this was using RPE to gauge your training, or tracking your metrics to better understand the things you're doing, and so on and so forth.
Any accessories you'll be doing aside of your 1 rep max curling?
Maybe 1 rep traps.
Overall, the seminar went really well. It was a great time on the weekend hanging out with everybody, just getting together and learning more about the sport of powerlifting and coaching in general, and basically gaining a lot of knowledge. There's always something to learn. Now, I don't want to dive too much into what happened and what I learned and all that kind of stuff at the coaching summit, but what I actually want to talk about was injuries. And the thing I want to talk about injuries is that you don't have to live in pain. Throughout the past few weeks, in my short time at the clinic, I've been working with a lot of different people, anywhere from adults to children, and everyone has their own individual problem. And I started realizing that I know so many people with issues, so many people with pain, and so many people that just live with this pain. It's like, oh yeah, I have a bad knee, and they accept it, that it's normal, or they wake up with back pain and it's like, oh yeah, it's normal, I have back pain, it'll go away in a couple hours or something like that. Or even people lifting, it's like, oh yeah, my hip kind of hurts right now, but once I kind of get warmed up, it's going good. And you know what I mean? Like, there's this stigma that pain is normal and pain is okay, and pain is part of life and part of the game. But I just wanted to tell you guys that pain isn't normal. Your body isn't supposed to hurt. Now, I mean, you may be seriously injured, or maybe changed your physiology or your anatomy in some tragic incident that changed your life forever, and you're always going to be in pain. But that doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. With the example of a car, just because your interior is all beat up, your seats are all ripped, your dash is all over the place, doesn't mean you still can't maintain the engine, and vice versa. Now, you may be saying that, oh yeah, I've done lots about it. I've went to physios and chiros, I've seen all these people, and they haven't been able to help me. Fair enough, but just like optimal training, finding out what works for you, I think it's safe to say that your specific injury or your specific pain might just not be treated the right way. Now, I'm not trying to bash any physical modalities, or am I trying to say that the person I work with is a total wizard that can heal you? But all I'm saying is that every injury has a different mechanism. Everyone is different. So I think it's wrong to assume that every injury or every similar injury has the same treatment protocol. I've seen people with pain in their hip, pain in their knee, pain in their ankle, or even their upper body, and it all stems from their neck because they're compressing a nerve. Even today, as in the day I made this video, I booked an appointment with a therapist as well. And he took a look at me, did some assessments, and he ended up working on my jaw. And I locked my jaw a few years ago from trying to eat a sandwich too big. But yeah, it was causing some nerve compression, and it was inhibiting my shoulder, and I felt a lot better after. And I'm not saying that people just feel better, they actually are better. There's actual objective assessments of how the body moves. These tests are like tracking your metrics or RPE. It's a way of defining what you're doing and seeing whether things actually work or not. So for example, testing my shoulder, we test the shoulder strength. So we push down on my shoulder and see if it drops and see how the strength is. And my shoulder kept dropping. But then after working on my jaw and freeing up the nerve space, my shoulder was able to stay up again. And just to dive in this a little further, just last week, we did some cupping to release some hyperactive muscles in my trap. And that was able to keep my shoulder up too. But this week it was still dropping. So that might have been a symptom. Now it's probably too early to tell, but the root cause might have been my jaw. Whether I'm 100% or not is a different story, but all I'm trying to say is just because you feel pain somewhere doesn't mean that that's the issue. There's so much things like referred pain, where if something's wrong you feel pain somewhere else, and the whole body is connected. Just because you have an issue here doesn't actually mean that that's the problem. And the thing of injuries, just like coaching or anything else, it's multi-layered, it's multifaceted. There's so much going on. There's so much that could be wrong. Just because someone couldn't help you doesn't mean that someone else can't. I mean, just like coaching, you gotta find what works. At the end of the day, guys, all I'm saying is no one wants to be in pain. No one likes to see anyone else in pain. I mean, any of you guys in pain, I seriously would recommend that you consider going to see someone, and whether you have or haven't, maybe even just get a different opinion. I mean, even if you don't have any pain, you could probably still benefit from a trip to a therapist. I'll give you an analogy. Just because a car is still running doesn't mean that you shouldn't get it looked at. Just because it can still drive doesn't mean that it doesn't need regular maintenance. So just because your body is working and it's not breaking down on you doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything for it. Doesn't mean that you don't have to take care of it. I mean, some things you don't even notice. While doing an assessment of my body today, I realized that my head was tilted to the right due to tightness here. And that's yeah, it doesn't really cause me any issues. But I mean, say you're 100%, that thing puts me at 80%. You might not even just feel better, you might even perform better if you're in a certain sport too. Now I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with, including myself, in the sense that, you know, you don't have time or the funds, whether it's finances, to go see the therapist. But I thought of a question that kind of makes you rethink all this stuff, and it's that if you had a chance to wake up with no pain or work out with no pain or whatever it is that might be bothering you, and all it took was a little bit of time and money, would you do it? Fixing it is the easy part. Keeping it that way is the hard part. Anyways, guys, I hope that video was of some interest to you. Maybe you got something out of it. And if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm more than glad to help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. And if you would want to come check out the therapist, let me know, and I can make it happen for you. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
No, hold on. Okay.
What?